What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Baddog back with another New York Giants video. As always, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Greatly appreciated. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Helps the video out enormously. YouTube likes it. It helps the algorithms. Please hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. We said hit the subscribe, ring the bell. Come along for the ride. That is going to be a great ride for the New York Giants. It has been a long-suffering 5 years for us Giants fans. The most games we've won in any season in the last 5 years was 6. We've already won 6. We're not even done with October yet. Looking for win number 7 on Sunday against Seattle. Brian Daboll has done an amazing job with this franchise, with this team, a team that's been god-awful for 10 years since our last Super Bowl, really, outside of 2016, where we played a really weak schedule and kind of squeaked by everybody, and then we went right downhill. 2016 is kind of like this year. Pretty solid defense. Offense does enough. Weaker schedule. But we're going to go in the right direction this time. We got the right pieces in place. So there's two things I wanted to talk about because I kind of thought about this when I was on the show with Patricia Traina and Entertainer last week. There's two things that really changed the Giants franchise. And going back to 1978, I was just a toddler in 1970. It was a long freaking time ago, so I don't remember this personally. Some of you older Giants fans obviously would. If you're older than me, you probably remember this. The Miracle in the Meadowlands. Herm Edwards for the Eagles. 1978. All the Giants had to do was kneel on the ball. Game over. Giants beat the Eagles. Instead, Ron Pisarcik turns the hand to Larry Zonka. They collide. They fumble. Herm Edwards picks it up, runs it into the end zone for a touchdown. Eagles win. 1917. The Miracle in the Meadowlands. Everything changed after that. George Young became the GM, drafted Phil Simms. Then we got Lawrence Taylor in 1981, made the playoffs in 81. And the dark days of the 70s were long behind the Giants. A 10-year span. Actually, it was a little bit longer because they were really bad from like 64 right through 81. But they got a lot better because of the embarrassment that was the Miracle in the Meadowlands. The darkest time, the darkest point for the Giants at that point in their franchise was that play. And because of that, they had hit rock bottom and they made a change. They came up for air, became one of the most competitive teams in football for the next 30 years after that. So, again, I remember the dark days of the 70s, but this is as close as I've been to it from what I understand. The last 10 years have been absolute hell here. And every time you sit there and you think to yourself, wow, when's rock bottom? When are we hitting rock bottom? When the hell do we hit rock bottom? Oh, we must hit rock bottom. Nope. Finding another low. Well, that's rock bottom. Nope. Finding another depth. Finding more and more and more depths in the sea. When the hell are we hitting the ocean floor? When are we finally going to get to the point where we can't get any lower? It's kind of funny how history repeats itself. You know, I talked about how I was born in 76. The Giants were terrible from 76 to 80. They made the playoffs in 1981 when I was 5 years old. Then they made it in 84, 85, and they won it when I was 10 in 1986. Now, my kid was born in 2017. It was the first time ever the Giants had lost 13 games in a season. They were terrible all the way up to 2021. My son's 5 this year. And barring an epic collapse, the Giants look like they're headed for the playoffs. It's funny how history repeats itself. But how do we get here? We hit rock bottom. Joe Judge, the back-to-back quarterback sneaks. That is the modern-day version of the Miracle of the Meadowlands in 1978. That was it. That play or plays was rock bottom. Running a quarterback sneak on 2nd and 11 from your own 2, and then running a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9 from your own 4. Pretty much embarrassing the franchise, embarrassing yourself, and flat out telling your players, I have absolutely no confidence in you. I don't care about the game. I don't care about the integrity of the game. I'm making room to punt. Like, I mean, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me that was what you were doing. Didn't even try. Didn't even try. That is the most embarrassing point of my fandom since 1984, the New York Giants, was the back-to-back quarterback sneaks. So I found it ironic that there was two plays that really stuck out in my brain. And again, I was very young in 78, so it's not like I remember it, but I love the history of the Giants. I obviously know the history of the Giants. And that particular play made everything change in 1979 for the Giants. Those back-to-back quarterback sneaks, there's no doubt in my mind that got Joe Judge fired. Because Joe Judge may have been back here had he not done that. The Giants were injured. It was Jake Fromm, a quarterback. Jake Fromm, like I said, at the end of the year, I always say a college team could never beat an NFL team. But I swear to God, at the end of the year, the team that the Giants fielded at the very end of the season, I really think the Georgia Bulldogs may have beaten them. That's how bad that Giants team was. So he might have gotten a reprieve. He'd only been here for 2 years. Team was beat up, injured. Didn't have their quarterback, didn't have the running back most of the year. Kenny Galladay was hurt. Like everybody was hurt. And John Maramay said, well, I really like Joe Judge. I want to give him another chance. It's not his fault. Everybody got hurt. What can he win without Daniel Jones? And then Mike Glennon even went down. Mike Glennon was terrible anyway. So I think that Gettleman would have been gone, but maybe he said, let's give Joe Judge another chance. But those back-to-back quarterback sneaks was absolute rock bottom. And as embarrassing as that was at the time, and as bad as that looked at the time when it happened, everybody made fun of it. And I don't blame them. I made fun of it. That's when I started coming up with the clown music. So I started saying that he used a roll of toilet paper as a playbook. It was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe I'd watched that actually happen in a professional football game that actually counted. Like, this wasn't, we're working on a quarterback sneak like the fourth game of the preseason or third game of the preseason or in training camp or whatever. It's actually a game. He showed no integrity. And Joe Judge, who had ripped Doug Peterson the year before, saying we would never do that here. We always play to win. We would never sit our guys, because he was mad that he thought the Eagles tanked, even though we were 6-10 and didn't deserve the division anyway. But he was really vocal about what Philadelphia had done when they benched Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter of that last game of the season. And then he's going to come out and run back-to-back quarterback sneaks against Washington. Not that Washington had anything to play for either, but pretty much just showing, hey, we're tanking. Without just coming out. He should have just had a big sign that says, we're tanking. We're tanking. We're not going to try. The only thing we're trying to do here is lose. It just sent a really bad message to everybody involved. It sent a bad message to the players. It sent a bad message to the fan base. It sent a bad message to the ownership. So there's two really bad plays in my lifetime that completely changed the fortune of the Giants. Now, we don't know going forward what this regime is going to do. I'm hopeful that what happened in 1978 and the way the Giants turned it around and they were competitive for the next 25 years, that's what I'm hoping happens here. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done here. But you can already see a major difference in the way this team plays for Brian Daboll and the way this team executes for Brian Daboll, in the way that these players who have no business being on a football roster, a lot of them wouldn't be on a football roster if it wasn't for all the injuries and the fact that we really don't have the best talent at each position, have cap problems. These guys always step up, next man up. These guys come out with a plan A, a plan B, plan C, plan D, all the way down to plan Z, and then maybe more. That's why every guy that comes off that bench seems prepared. There's no confusion. They don't mess around. They're very businesslike. They're having fun. They enjoy playing for one another. They enjoy playing for him. It's a different culture with Brian Daboll, and it's all because of those back-to-back quarterback sneaks by Joe Judge. Anyway, I just want to give my opinion on that because I found it interesting, and it's just something I came up with in my head. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Do you think it was the back-to-back quarterback sneaks? Do you think he would have been fired anyway? Do you think it was his rant to the media? Whatever it was, how happy are you that Daboll's the head coach? Shane is the GM. Brandon Brown's the assistant GM. Wink is here. Kafka's here. And all the other coaching staffs has done a fantastic job with a team that nobody gave a chance, including myself. Let me know what you think in the comments section. This is the Bad Diggy Diz. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. See you for the Lakers tonight. And I'm gone. Peace.